Hey, yo, welcome to the Uncle Show, and this time we got something very big and a bit complicated with the Bandai high-grade Choryujin model kit. This was another model kit slash figure I picked up while I was in China for about 50 bucks, which is about what you can get it for in America. Sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. I've seen it vary, because not only is this the rare model kit that actually combines, but it's the even rarer model kit that combines and transforms, which is just what I like to hear. So let's dive into some backstory. Choryujin is a combining robot from the anime King of the Braves, Gao Gaigar, which, if you've never heard of the Brave series, it was kind of Takara and Animation Studios Sunrise's successor to Transformers in the 90s, even reusing some designs and some toys for it. But they also had a lot of original designs. In fact, it had a lot of gorgeous designs. It could be gritty and action-packed or silly and comedic. I've only seen 2 full episodes as of writing this script. An episode of Gold Goldrin where the main robot gets another robot pregnant and has kids. Yes, really? And an episode of Brave X Kaiser where the titular robot fights a giant evil mecha centaur Santa. I really need to get into this franchise, but it's very beloved, often cited as one of the most influential mecha anime of the 90s, and curiously, hasn't seen a proper new show since the year 2000. That might be due to rights issues because, in case you don't know, Bandai bought out Sunrise and the rights to the show, but this was a Takara toy property, so I imagine there's some muddy rights issues like who owns what. Although in the past few years, we've gotten a variety of toys from both Bandai and Takara, so who knows, maybe there wasn't any issue in the first place. As for today's subject, he comes from the final series in the most popular Brave season, Gao Gaigar, and he's essentially a combiner of twin robot brothers Horyo and Enryo, who have that whole blue Oni, red Oni contrast between them. And through the power of symmetrical docking, they form the mighty Choryujin. Kind of like how Superman was split from a red and blue Superman. You remember that? Of course not, you're trying to forget it. But Choryujin remains a popular mech design with plenty of mechs with similar ideas following both in Gao Gaigar itself and probably most notably the combiner Safeguard from Transformers Animated was made from twin brothers Jetfire and Jetstorm in an homage to this guy. Because Derek J. Wyatt knows his mecha anime. I really wanted to get a figure of this guy, but the original 90s toy can be kind of expensive and hard to find. There's the set by Artstorm, which is brutally expensive, and there's the Soul of Chogokin set, which looks great, but I've heard it has some problems. But I saw this model kit for cheap-ish. I figured, why not? And let me just say, I have some feelings about this set. Some good feelings and some bad. But I'll tell you what is a good feeling. If you get subscribed and get notified, you'll not only see new reviews, but you can also tune into live streams where I film footage for future videos. Any super chats will also be featured in the video as well. Also, if you like the video, please give a like and comment. Your engagement helps support this channel. Now, back to the video. The build was mostly pretty intuitive, despite the amount of runners. I have 2 major problems. One is these bits to attach the siren to the legs. The manual says not to use tools, but when I got the first one out, my disgusting monster hands broke a piece a little. So I suggest using a pair of tweezers to very gently twist it out. Second, stickers. Just too many stickers. And several of these were those really awful thin ones that could break and peel if you just looked at the funny. Hopefully they're not a problem later. The actual robots themselves look absolutely fantastic. Blue and red are just perfectly contrasting colors, and there is enough gray, black, and yellow accents to keep the robots being just one color. And they're remarkably spot on to their animation models as well, right down to the back. You'd swear these things didn't transform, they're so precise. More on that later. It's just a shame about the stickers, which the ones that are a bit more recessed are fine, but these black strips really like to peel off, especially later. So what I recommend you do is get yourself a black Gundam marker and fill that in yourself. This is made of a PS plastic, not ABS, so it won't eat through the plastic. I also appreciate the fact they give you 2 different faces for the 2, with option for a more neutral face and a shouting face. So let's give a quick little test with the articulation. You got a really, really nice ball jointed head, allowing for a little bit of tilt, a lot of looking up, a lot of looking down, and you can, in theory, extend it further, but I don't think that's intentional, but still, really nice. His chest panel opens up, arms go really far up,
rotate all around. He can T-pose, release, elbows go 90. There's a upper bicep swivel, I think. Wrists got a little bit of back and forth because they're on a ball joint, and they can rotate around. So nice. This bit here can rotate around. The hook can extend. This little dingly dangly there. He's got a waist rotation, a little bit of a back, a decent crunch, and not something you don't get, and something you don't get all the time, a little bit of side action, which I really, really like. These skirts move up. In fact, I'm gonna recommend something. If you're gonna get like really high leg poses, you might wanna rotate the side skirts up on the side just so that they're nice and out of the way. He can spread. And legs do a really good rotation at the hip. Legs, you gotta be careful moving it up, but they can go forward pretty far, but not the best going back due to the plate positioning. Knee is a double knee, so allowing for a lot of movement going back. These things extend, but that's more for the transformation later. And the foot is at a ball joint, allowing for a little bit of, not quite a great pivot, but allowing for a lot of rotation. And so, yeah, really nicely articulated. Oh, almost forgot actually. There is a bit of a butterfly, a little bit going back, more so going forward. It's actually rather nice. I will use this as an opportunity to show that he can use his fire hose as a weapon, actually. Oop. He can use his fire hose as a weapon. You just plug it in like that. And that's really cool. Yeah, it would just kind of, it would have attached onto here, then he could hold it up, but unfortunately it's kind of stuck there and I really don't want to break it. You also get some guns, but these guns suck. So the way you think, oh, I just slot them in like the rifles. No, they have these annoying handles. What you have to do, this is so annoying. You gotta separate the fist covers, plug them in, and then plug back in the covers, and that gets it in. Needlessly obnoxious.
The articulation on these guys are phenomenal, and you can get them into almost any pose you can think of, and they'll look amazingly natural doing them. These two are some of the most posable figures I've ever come across, especially impressive for model kits. But these guys transform, right? Well...
Just time for a bit of parts forming. So what you want to do is you need to take off a little bit of parts. So you take off you take the knees and you just kind of fold them in on themselves, collapsing in, and rotate these so that the sirens are shining. But we're not done yet, because next we need to take this bit and just plop it up front like that. If you're gonna connect this, by the way, try not to get it too far in. You'll see why later. Also, make sure that the leg sockets are exposed. You fold up these, rotate, and then collapse them in on itself. You can actually do this, thankfully, on its own part, just so that like you can at least try and minimize some of the parts forming. You get over. Then you get it kind of. You can fold in the legs a little bit more just to get them a little bit more even, but I wouldn't bother. It's not going to look great regardless. This is where the moon mirror shield would go. I'll come back to that later. And there you go, fire truck. The blue one's basically identical, save for in the manual it kind of tells you to connect this part separately, but if you saw throughout the review, I kept it on the back so I can minimize that whole parts forming thing. It also suggests you remove the butt plates on the original robots, but nah, there's enough parts for them.
Well, here's the fire trucks, and at least they're animation accurate? Kinda? Okay, not really. Look, parts forming aside, these are kind of rough. They all look like they're buckling in on themselves, and if you're gonna make a part to cover up the parts forming, don't you think you could have at least covered up their crotches? These covers aren't used for the final combination. You could have made them as big as you wanted and hidden their shame. Almost as shameful as the stickers for the gabs peeling off. We had to rely on so much parts forming, especially for the fronts of the CHEATS, which were done perfectly well on the original toy. I feel like there could have been a way to engineer something there, but maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Besides, the real start of the show is the combiner.
To transform it, first you gotta get rid of this and this. These actually go onto here, or rather this bit here. Yeah, this bit connects to here. I will say I don't mind the combiner torso. The thing is, there are a lot of combiners that actually do this for sake of stability. Third-party transformers use it, for instance. I actually don't mind this. This is the least offensive to me because it allows a lot more articulation than the original toy, or even I think the Solid Choryujin thing. But we'll get more into the problems later. You also just attach the moon mirror shield like that. There you go. That's the torso ready. Now on to all this crap. So it's removed slowly and carefully. So we remove this slowly and carefully according to the manual. And we take these out here. We take off these bits. These bits are not used for transformation in the slightest, so that's lovely. And you take off the arms, and this part absolutely threw me for a loop the first time I saw it. You have to remove that bit, and as for the rest of the torso, well, that just goes to the side, not to be seen again. Great. My camera is slowly dying. So now what you want to do is just very carefully you remove this. We'll save that for later. And then here comes a really annoying bit you gotta do is you kind of have to nudge this bit and get it out, and it feels rough every time. If you come at it at here, like trying to move it upwards, it's a little better, but it does not feel good. I feel like this should have been handled a very different way. Then what we're gonna do is plug this in and then plug that in. And then this horrible bit again gets brought back, and boom, we got the first arm. Okay, this bit now makes a little bit more sense. It's to connect the front for the transformation a little bit more, but there could have been a better method. Anyhow, as for this bit, for one, rotate these inward. And make sure like these bits, these little hinges are visible for it. Because now what we're gonna do is also get this bit and flip the backpack up, plug that in as much as you can, and then we're gonna take this backpack and plug it in like so. And keep this up for now and try to, God, I really hate those stickers. Unplugged in and you get this bit in, and that's gonna actually provide a pretty nice, actually sturdy, steady fit. And then you just connect this foot and you try to press this in. There we go. Take the the combiner torso, and then you plug in the leg. Enryu was basically identical, so I did that off screen. Sorry about that. Then you plug this bit in. Next arm. There we go, almost done. Then, in a weird way, the manual actually suggests you plug in the hydrants, or ladders rather, like that way. Plug that in, comes up, and oh, there you go, Choryujin. And a mess of just absolute part forming.
The combination sequence is a whole lot of cheating and a whole lot more parts lying around. It's incredibly frustrating because even if you use the fake torso for the sake of articulation, there could have been something just so that I didn't have to use an entire baggie full of the previous forms. Then again, this could be a problem that goes a little deeper. See, this model kit uses PS plastic for all the parts of the figure. PS, or polystyrene plastic, is the plastic type of choice for Bandai's model kits, including Gundam. It's a lighter plastic, one that's very affordable to use. Meanwhile, something like Transformers or Bandai SMP typically use something like ABS plastic, which is a much tougher form of plastic used to make sure figures have a lot more durability during play, especially for transformations, but of course, it's more expensive. And also, apparently, Gundam workers really don't like it for some reason. It could be why there's so much reliance on parts forming in order to minimize stress on the joints and parts, so I'll probably go a little easier here, especially because, ooh, this combined form looks so good. Spot onto the animation model, very well proportioned, this design just slaps! The same great color balance that was on the smaller figures is on full display here, with a new reflected silver chest that looks great. You can see why this design has become a fan favorite amongst mecha anime fans. And unlike those stupid guns on the smaller robots, you can plug in his weapons as either tonfas or as guns right off the bat.
Just so we have some more size comparisons, here he is next to Black Series Stormtrooper. Let's get some Mudflap Ice Cream Truck. And finally, probably the one you definitely want to see, Animated Safeguard, or Jetfire and Jetstorm, whatever, their combined mode.
Man, seeing these two combiners across from each other, it really is a beautiful thing. Just a shame that Jetfire broke a bit during filming.
For a quick little articulation test, he has oh Jesus. He has a decently maneuverable neck. It actually is capable of going a little bit up and back and forth, like, There's, arm goes 360. It can go up a little bit, but it's a little bit of a pain with the, it's not the best, because this bit doesn't go up a lot. There's a little bit of butterfly back, not as much going forward compared to the other bots. Arm goes much more than 90 this time, which is really nice. Upper elbow swivel. Wrist swivel with a little bit of ball joint action, not as much as the lower bots. A little bit of side to side. Oh dear. Oh dear. Don't know. So we get a little bit of a waist swivel, a little bit of side to side, much better crunch this time. Not as good as an arching back feel. Like before, we get a little bit of skirt action. And we can split. There is a little bit of thigh swivel, although a little bit limited, I'd say, which is a little weird. Or not criminal, but still annoying. Really good knees, though. Double jointed and go back a lot farther, which makes sense. This guy doesn't have the excuse that he has to transform, technically. And a ankle pivot. No foot pivot, which is weird. I would have made this a ball joint, me personally, but whatever. So, so still highly articulated, but yeah.
So yes, individual robots are great and the combined mode is awesome, but I'm also really split. Just like the figure. The thing is, I know Bandai is capable of both transforming model kits and combining model kits with their SMP kits. So I came into this expecting something like that, and maybe I just had too many expectations. I like that Type V3's review of the Gundam Tryon 3 model kit, and quite frankly, that's just as bad. Maybe that's just a problem with making a combiner out of a model kit. Here's hoping Galgagar doesn't suffer the same problems, because I really want him to. Again, making combiners is a hard task, especially articulated ones. Even Transformers themselves had to break the rules a little to get something that can pose halfway convincingly. But I just feel there was a lot of potential here not quite taken advantage of. But that being said, it's $50 for two really awesome robots that turn into less convincing vehicles and a gorgeous combine mode. And you got to build it, which provides a lot of satisfaction, so yeah, I think this is totally worth it actually. If you're a fan of Galgaigar or just Mecha Anime itself, it's some serious bang for your buck, especially compared to the competition. Despite my frustrations, I just gotta repeat to myself, it's only a modal, and I should approach it as such. Even the SMP kit of this guy, which I didn't know existed until after I got this guy, still uses a lot of parts forming and isn't nearly as articulate as these guys. And at least he's not SMP Choryujin, which doesn't even combine or transform. I'm still tempted to get it though. Sadly, cute robot girlies will do that to me. But what about you? How do you feel about this set? And how do you feel about how it handled the combination and transformations? Let me know in the comments and please subscribe.